the millennials, the old school generation that I kind of come from, and the Gen Z, the newer generation that Sangeeta comes from. Will these two generations, Sangeeta, as per you, pull each other apart professionally in terms of culture in opposite directions, or do you think they have kind of some common ambitions and attributes over there? Like if you're getting bored in the outer world, you might just go on the internet and see. But right now, that's taken the forefront and everything else is taking the back seat.
Yes, I think we have the pros and cons of both, for a matter of fact. Yes, attention span is a problem. True, because they've seen the great recession that has happened into the millennials' life, and I think they're taking their learning. They are not wanting to get in something like that till they evolve into some artificial intelligence.
All right, welcome back everybody to the Double Trouble Show. My name is Raja Mukherjee and with me is the gorgeous and the amazing Sangeeta Singh. Sangeeta, how are you today?
Hey Raja, how are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. And when we are at Double Trouble, I got to be fine, right? It's like the most favorite thing of the day that I look forward to.
I look forward to this as well. I look forward to this as well. And yeah, who wouldn't want to look forward to looking at you on the screen, virtually at least right now. Yeah, for a change. All right, guys. Today, we've decided to touch upon a topic that is very personal to us. I'll tell you why. Because we both come from this specific generation. The millennials, the old school generation that I kind of come from, and the Gen Z, the newer generation that Sangeeta comes from. So we're actually going to try and see what's going on over here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin this video, please go ahead, like, share, subscribe and comment below what topics you would like us to cover in the Double Trouble Show, because we are very well looking at those comments and trying to figure out our next topics for discussion. So please go ahead, like, share, subscribe and comment your opinions and the topics that you would want us to cover below. And it's about time we start with today's show, which is the millennials versus the Gen Z. Let's go. Millennials are anyone that's born between the 1980s to the 1995, and the Gen Z, anyone born between 1996 to the mid 2000s. Sangeeta, out of the top of your head, what do you have to say about these two comparisons of generations?
Yes, Raja, but firstly, thank you for the compliment that yes, I am from the Gen Z.
Gen Z, iGen, or post-millennial, that's what they kind of call your generation, I'm guessing. Huh?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I feel great right now. So yes, I'm going to be talking more on my generation. Well, I'm going to leave all the millennial talks to you. What I understand is millennials are also Generation Y, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. That's how you have the X, Y, and Z that we are in right now.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's going to happen after this. Generation A, B, C, or are we just going to do X, Y, Z? Yeah. Okay.
X, Y, Z, and then what?
Then 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, we're going to figure it all out. There's a lot of
I think we're all talking about artificial intelligence, right? It's going to be more of like a robot.
Generation AI. Why not? See, there you go. Generation AI, artificial intelligence. Yeah, they have another couple of years to figure it out. But will these two generations, Sangeeta, as per you, pull each other apart professionally in terms of culture in opposite directions, or do you think they have kind of some common ambitions and attributes over there?
Yes, I really, there is a lot of difference. There's a stark difference that we're actually getting to see between the millennials and, of course, our Generation Z. So I guess with this particular podcast and, of course, with this amazing channel of ours, this is where we are, we are here to kind of make people understand what these two generations are, how do they behave in their own respective ways of life. It could be, their entire media consumption, or it could be their banking habits or choices of careers and how they want to get educated, or rather, for a matter of fact, how do they like to be fed with a lot of information. So we'll get started one after the other. What say?
Absolutely. And do you think media consumption is something that we should start with, because we are something that is in the media space of things?
Right. So Raja, as we get started, let me ask you, do you also have a nickname back home? I mean, something that you are kind of called?
My real name is a nickname, by the way.
Really?
That's what a lot of people have asked me when I was growing up. Like, is Raja your real name? I'm like, are you from the government, or are you just trying to figure this out? So yeah, I have had situations like that. I've had situations like that in the past.
I brought into context this entire nickname thing because I think before we get into the behavior pattern, let's figure out, what are all the nicknames people should know besides millennials, what all they are kind of known as. So one of course is
Gen Z is something that I've
Echo boomers, yeah. And just to let you know,
Echo
Gen
boomers,
Z
yeah.
is also called as, digital evolution is what they are termed as, because they're totally into. You can see the kind of digital transformation that has happened around.
That's what I kind of
Isn't
feel
it?
as well. Millennials literally saw the coming of age with the internet boom, and it kind of happened during our period. When people said Orkut, MySpace, all of these archaic type of social media channels that have just faded away right now because they didn't move with time in a way, and they were very complacent, and they were the first generation per se. And
Yeah, they actually saw the transition. You're so right with that. Actually, we did see a lot of elevation in terms of usage of internet, mobile phones, devices, social media. I think for the millennials, it was more like, getting like, now we are adapting to the new normal. It was back to normal for them.
I'm not gonna lie. For us, it was more like an escape from the real world in its own way, right? And I kind of thought, yeah, fine, like if you're getting bored in the outer world, you might just go on the internet and see. But right now, that's taken the forefront, and everything else is taking the back seat. And simultaneously, I've always, when I was growing up, I was always like, nah, this is just going to be here today, gone tomorrow. But okay, I didn't expect this. I'm sure a lot of people didn't expect this. As a young kid who was about 17ish when the internet boom kind of started, no one took it seriously in a way. But today we do see that it's a parallel, literal economy with a contribution towards your GDP that goes into it. But do you also think with Gen Z kind of coming into this entire fast-paced digital life, the attention span, Gen Z have a shorter attention span compared to the millennials?
Yes, while they have a shorter attention span, I think but they're very good at multitasking, is what I understand. Because you can see they're on their computers, they're on their phones, they're also chatting up, they're updating while they are still into their classes. So I guess, yes, I think we have the pros and cons of both. For a matter of fact, yes, attention span is a problem, but then multitasking is.
For you, is multitasking a good thing or a bad thing?
At times, I guess I really need it.
Okay.
So because we cannot. I think anything in life, Raja, for a matter of fact, cannot be put under boxes. Good or bad. There's nothing completely right or wrong.
Absolutely.
I have always gone and I've always been driven by this. There could be times that we really need to do multitasking. You could be at certain events, you could be while.
Yeah, sure.
You can see the Gen Zs, while they're actually watching a movie, they're also on their, they are on their videos and they are doing their stuff. They're chatting up, they're updating their
Insta putting up stories of what movie they are watching.
It's very difficult with the millennials. Millennials do have a lot of, rather they typically, when we talk about millennials, they actually have lots of social media accounts. But when you talk about the Gen Zs, I think they are also in terms of security. They have, with millennials, they love using the Fleetbook, for a matter of fact, and the stories could be there forever. But now you have Snapchat. The Gen Zs are pretty.
Here today, gone tomorrow.
They want the stories to disappear in 24 hours. Correct. So they're very private about their stuff. So
yes, for example, the music, the movies, everything is shrinking in a way. Like the songs back then used to be 6 minutes, now it's 2 minutes. And
totally.
If it's 3 minutes, people are like, "Oh my God, it's 3 minutes." I'm like, it's only 3 minutes, by the way.
And I think Gen Zs kind of today identify a lot. They understand what is the kind of security threat that comes along. What is the privacy invasion that can happen when they're so much exposed. So I think they are very smart at handling entire.
I think they do need to self-educate themselves for that. A lot of people, not the entire masses, would be very aware of the security per se, because there's so much kind of happening, right? Because we have a supercomputer versus humans. How do you figure that out? But anyway, it's safe to say the Gen Z is the DIY generation, in person and professionally, and they love to do a lot of things in hand. Wherein Gen X.
So when you're talking about professionalism, Raja, what do you think would be the career choices for, if we have to, again, put them into a box in terms of what would the millennials prefer and what do the Gen Zs prefer now? What is the kind of workspace?
I personally kind of feel millennials have always looked for a safety net or a security per se, right? And when it comes to a Gen Z, they've had more of that animal ambition or a entrepreneurial edge to them, wherein they don't want to take over too much of debt either. You know, like
true, because they've seen the great recession that has happened into the millennials' life, and I think they're taking their learning. They are not wanting to get in something like that.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, and I think that's a very good thing, you know, because the Gen Z kind of also believe in self-education and learning, opposing to debt, because a lot of millennials have been taking a lot of student loans, a lot of home loans, a lot of these things. Now the entire economy and the generations kind of become into a rental generation and an economy where, you know, you have the world of information available on the internet. If you want a degree, yes, education out there with diplomas and all of that, but I do think somewhere the Gen Z is kind of not buying into the entire debt system, and they're trying to have more of a rational about specifications and niche, what they really want to get and achieve while they kind of grow. What do you think, by the way?
I completely agree to that. As you rightly said, you know, they don't want to get under any kind of financial debt. Not only that, in terms of also planning their lives, it could be your wedding or any kind of, any such kind of, getting a home. They somewhere are delaying those kind of processes. We also see, when you say for Gen Zs, I've also noticed this one thing, getting into that adulthood, that whole passage to get into, they are trying to delay that process as much as they can, because that ownership, it's like, while they are very independent, but then at the same time they make sure that when it comes to their financial planning, they are kind of making sure that they're not really putting themselves into huge debts, and even for a matter of fact, as you said, so any big purchases, none of those are really happening.
Yeah, I guess that's because Gen Z is a little more optimistic over the millennials, as we've kind of had so much of life experience. Not so much, and nothing is too much in terms of experience, but I think we've gained a little more experience than your generation has. So it's kind of safe to say that's why they are kind of trying and learning from the Gen X as well. And wherein, what I kind of believe right now is, even though these people out here like to kind of have that entire space and like to have that system in play, but they are kind of taking that risk. Don't you think so? They've not, it's not that they have that hunger for more going ahead. And isn't that something that everybody needs to kind of have?
Yes, they do. And you can see.
At the same time, don't you think stability is also needed? Do you think a lot of hunger for more and the entrepreneurial spirit is kind of killing the stability of the system?
I really don't think so. And now when you look at the COVID right now with the entire pandemic situation, I think it's acted up like a great equalizer for all of us. For a matter of fact, I think nobody is now hungry for more. It's like everybody is kind of, people have changed the entire perspective. And as you said that, yes, there's hunger for more. But I also feel while the Gen Z, they have this whole hunger for more, but they're very wise, they're very smart. You see, even the work culture that they choose is more collaborative. They want to step out. Rather, they are, while their hunger is for more, but if you actually see, they do go ahead and they kind of choose more of freelance rather than kind of getting fixated with a particular job. They want to share their ideas. They want to be on platforms where they are heard. They are they have people to go out and share ideas. So they're not kind of restricted to like cubicles. And
that's what we were kind of talking about the other day.
Not a little more.
That's what we were kind of talking about the other day. If you remember, the end of 9-to-5 era of jobs. I mean, is that what we're going to see?
But the Gen Zs, I think it's an absolute no 9-to-5 for them.
No 9-to-5, right? No, so it's safe to say they have that skill where they want to, go out and achieve for themselves rather than achieve for the others in a whole world, right? They want to kind of be their own bosses, which is an amazing thing. Surprisingly to me, as per a survey that I'd kind of read online. Gen Z follow more parental influence than the millennials. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, they do.
I would have guessed otherwise. Don't you think so?
Yes, even I thought so till I actually kind of read up a little bit to try to understand, because it's also confusing and it just all, it's just all happening. And because we millennials, we've gone through this entire transition. So at times you tend to confuse this entire behavior. What I understand, before I kind of read up all of this, and then I was like, I was always of this opinion that when it comes to Gen Z, they are like those, their entire outlook is pretty much out there and on the razor's edge. But I was very surprised to kind of learn and understand that the behavior pattern is so way different from what I said, and like you said, a lot of heavy influence in terms of from the parental guidance, and which is where you see the Great Recession itself.
Right.
Kind of made them a little more, more cautious how they're going to plan their entire financial stability. Like I said, delaying their purchases or delaying their weddings and things like that. That all, like the entire passage into adulthood.
Right.
So then when you see all of this, you realize that yes, this is more smarter a generation, far more working in terms of, could it be media, social media, they're more secured, could it be financial, rather they have so many bank accounts for a matter. I didn't have a bank account till I think I was 24, 25, but
really?
Now like I have, and like I have like my brother here, he just barely 16, and I know he was like, I'm turning 18 and I need my own independent account and like that. So just imagine how smart they are.
Yeah. So I do think a lot of influence of Gen Z's come through from the Gen X in a way. A lot of these influences, and what the Gen Z's kind of done is they've taken those plus points and they've kind of evolved with it in the right direction. Like the blueprint was already there. The blueprint was already there. It was already available, but they just took it and made it better and kind of developed on that entire thing. What I kind of beautifully admire about this generation is they are not close to change and evolution. So I kind of think this generation has it going in the right direction. But with that being said, too much of anything is kind of meh for me. So even though I love to be an entrepreneur and take my risk, because the more risk, the more rewards, the age is on your side, all of that, you cannot forget to diversify and even pull in some stability in your system. What do you think?
Stability, yes, that is the mantra as you go forward. It is very important. While you need to draw the line when you have so much of everything. It kind of sometimes gets difficult for you to make your choices, because yes, you are spoiled for choices, and which is how it is important that you pick and choose the right things. And also it's very important when you take your life forward, it's very important that you have your cultures, your values very much intact, because there's so much happening out there, right, into the social media world, into how you're actually dealing your lives. Everything is at a snap of a finger. It's all happening out there. So yes, you need to be a little more responsible. We've always said this with our every podcast, with our every
right.
And every episode that we make, we always say that with great power does come great responsibility. So yes, at this point in time, stability too is as important as responsibilities.
Even though this is the DIY generation, Sangeeta, don't you think humans collaborating make a newer and a different dimension of results? Because there are two brains working on something.
We are seeing this, right, more than ever. We are seeing how collaboration,
because the millennials are charging right now.
For a matter of fact,
because the millennials are into charge right now, and they're kind of doing this. And the Gen Z have not really taken that charge because they were born into the mid 2000s.
So the maximum age that we're talking for a Gen Z is somewhere about 24, 23, 24. So there's a lot more yet that they have. They have to explore. There's a lot more that they need to kind of. So yes, well, millennials have lived. We are talking about when we talk about millennials, about 39, 40 is what the age. So they've lived a bigger, larger part of their lives. So yes, there is a lot more. I think we are yet to wait and watch and understand that how does this. I think it'll be a thing to watch. That how does the Gen Z actually take it forward from here? What say, Raja?
And if they can actually take the baton and run towards the finish line without, not slowing down, but carrying ahead tradition and evolving as a better group of
towards family, towards relationship, towards the society at large, towards the nation at large. Rather, now they are global citizens. So yes, there is a lot more onus that lies upon them.
That's right. I would definitely not disagree with that for a change. I mean, we have a lot of opinions that we don't really agree with, and I'm glad today you're agreeing with a whole bunch of opinions. Yaar, ye kya ho raha hai? Matlab, I'm not kind of.
And then we are ending by you agreeing with me as well.
Okay. If that's how we see it, all right. With that being said, I mean, how do you like to shop? I mean, do you like to go and shop instantly? Is your spending habits like boom, or do you like to go out, ask your friends, have it more like an experience? Because I'll tell you, I'm not going to tell you now, but I'll later on tell you which generation.
I guess it all differs on what is that I am wanting to shop. Okay, it's very important when you talk about anything to do with technology, anything to do with electronics. You'll always want a couple of, you will go to YouTube videos, you'll try to understand, or probably I'm somebody who will like a go-to person to my friends. I'll kind of, I know, okay, if I know Raja is like the tech savvy kind of a person, I'll call him up and I'll pick up. So I am somebody like that, I am not somebody who really takes on to YouTube unless, because I am the millennial and I still want to speak to my people that I know.
Really? I thought you were Gen Z. What's wrong with you? Are you millennial or Gen Z?
Okay. Okay, let's kind of break this bubble right here.
Okay, fine. Double trouble here to burst our own bubble.
Yes, I do. I still call my friends up, and depending on what. But then when it comes to clothes and my other regular shopping, I'm like, okay. While makeup, yes, I'm somebody who'll want to go. There's so much of content out there. I'd love to understand, what makeup looks good, what. But then yes, I am somebody who wants to walk into a store. I really cannot shop much online, barring a couple of things here and there. But then yes, I'm still the person who walks into a store, and I'd love to. I'm more a kinesthetic kind of a personality. I need to touch, feel, understand. Then.
So let's say, that totally fits in the description of a millennial. So yeah, no more lying. You're not Gen Z. You're a millennial. I get it. That's because as per the surveys, millennials like to take shopping as an experience and see it as something that they do. Wherein Gen Z believe more in instant spending habits.
Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
I think millennials are somebody who actually go more to the computer to shop, while the Gen Z like pick up their phone and they'll just kind of order things. So I have this,
Do you think this is an influence of also a lot of e-retail stores that have kind of come in over the last 10 years?
Rather the last 8 years, yes. Last 8 months more.
Yeah. It's hard to disagree with that entire thing. Last 8 months, it's gone into a different boom, and everyone's kind of adapted to this entire space of things as well. So it's easy to say attention span, Gen Z, the attention span is dying down versus the millennials. It's easy to say Gen Z.
But multitasking is going up for the Gen. But multitasking is going up for the Gen Z, which has not been the case with the millennials. Yeah.
Let's put this together. Gen Z wins over millennials in terms of multitasking. Millennials win over Gen Z in terms of attention span, right? Then you have Gen Z that likes to DIY, wherein the millennials love to collaborate, get in groups, kind of huddle up and figure things out themselves. Wherein
no, I would beg to differ here, Raja. I think when it comes to don't you think Gen Zs like to really go out and collaborate? No, they're not that kinds.
I do think it's a DIY kind of generation that like to take the onus upon themselves, because see, every entrepreneur begins in thinking they are the best out there. If you don't really think you're the best out there and then add feathers to your hats, then it's going to be a difficult task kind of to be the best out there. If you don't think you're the best out there, you just can't be the best out there. That's my simple explanation. And if you want to be the best, you got to do a lot of things by yourself.
Yes,
that's where it kind of comes from, right? And
that kind of reminds me of a phrase wherein I remember somebody saying that thanks to everybody who told me no, that now I'm able to do it all by myself.
Absolutely, absolutely. That just makes
I
more
think the Gen Z have understood it so well.
yeah, they have. That's because they've learned from our mistakes in a way. That's very safe to say. And, that's why I've always been of the thought that self-education is the best form of education. Sure, you need your basic education, where you need to understand the decorum of, go ahead, sit down, do all of these type of things and learn the basics of education. But when it comes to self-education and learning, I think Gen Z is kind of acing it, especially with the technology coming into play, and they are ever evolving, and they are opposing to debt, because which is the biggest financial cancer of our generation is debt. Because what happened in 2008? Everything collapsed due to debt. What happened during times of a pandemic? Everything that was on high debt had to deleverage and pull back, wherein people or companies that did not have debt could actually scale further up, and evolve and do a lot of things. Then again, we have stability that millennials take the cake in, wherein the Gen Z is kind of running and running and running and running and running. I just think they will get that with time and more experience. Gone are those days we had passbooks in banks.
I think they haven't even gone to the bank for like last 4 to 6 months. I'm sure
banking,
on that.
There you go. That just changed an entire ecosystem of banking.
Totally.
My mom was telling me, we don't need net banking. I'm going to the bank. I'm like, okay, fine. See, this every generation, right? We've gotten used to net banking. Now they were introduced to mobile banking. I mean, I don't know what next. You just tell the air, hey, can you transfer the money from here to there, and it's gone. I mean,
I think they've always been in this hyper-connected world.
Correct.
They've always been there. They've just a tender age of about 10 or 12 when they've got their mobile phone. They've practically grown up with smartphones.
Frankly,
so,
do you think it's a parent's job also to have a certain parental guidance in terms of consumption of data?
Very important. And I think we are seeing that there's so much out there happening to make people aware, to make people a little more cautious. Yes, and I think that's another thing, maybe another topic to talk about, Raja, because yes, it's very important.
All right, we've got another topic to discuss on Double Trouble. Yep,
yes.
Here to burst your bubble, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's safe to say that these two generations derive something from each other. The millennials look at the Gen Z and they're like, wow, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to use that for myself. And the Gen Z is like, wow, okay, I see something that the millennials are doing, and maybe I'm going to use that for myself as well. So it's kind of safe to say that the culture is not going to be pulled in two different directions, but they do have a lot of common attributes, and they will be able to coexist pretty well for the coming at least decade or so, till they evolve into something else, and the next type of a generation comes.
Till they evolve into some artificial intelligence.
Yeah, AI generation, that's not too far away. The Gen
not too far away. Absolutely.
Yep. Okay, with that, we wrap up today's edition, the Millennials versus the Gen Z. Sangeeta, I think they listen to you better than they listen to me. Would you like to tell them to go ahead, like, share, subscribe, and
yes,
hit that bell icon without forgetting?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. Make sure everybody out there, we simply enjoy bringing this to you every time, and we love when we hear it all from you. So make sure that you like, you subscribe, you share, and you do comment, because it's very important for all of us to know that how do you feel about everything that we talk to you, we bring to you. And do keep giving your suggestions.
Absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we wind up this edition of Double Trouble with the promise that we will be back soon with the next topic, and comment below on what you want to see. My name is Raja Mukherjee, and we have
Sangeeta Singh signing off. Well, friends, make sure that wherever you are, you stay safe.
All right, peace.